Hi Aquarius, welcome to your birthday reading. Happy birthday to the January Aquarians. So what we're going to do in this reading is look at the energies for the remainder of January and for February. I know that I didn't do like an actual January video, but if you missed the forecast, the 2020 forecast, I will put the link in the comments. I'll put a link for the 2020 forecast for Aquarius in the comments. So we're going to look at the rest of January and February. I know a lot of you, I have so many Aquarius friends, and I've had text messages from my Aquarian friends like, is this energy over? I mean, I know that this energy is trash. I get it. And it's all happening in your 12th house, especially if you're an Aquarius rising, which my youngest is an Aquarius rising, my 6-year-old. And Aquarius risings, you can tell that they're an Aquarius rising because they have really big eyes. Like they just like everything is a new and glorious feat in their life. I love Aquarius risings. They're basically going to rule the world. I think someday. It's just how you guys work. You have so many amazing thoughts. And what's really funny is I realized why I get along with you guys so well is because half of my chart and most of my personal planets are in the 11th house, and the 11th house rules Aquarius. So I live your energy. I live 11th house energy every single day. So speaking of houses and stuff, I am doing astrological services now. So if you want to get a reading on finding out what your purpose is, finding out who or where you might find the love of your life or like your compatible partner. All of that stuff can be found in your astrology chart. So if you're interested in getting that reading done, check out my website. Also, the birthday specials, yay! Your birthday special is available as of today. You can get a 30-minute reading with me for $50, or you can get an hour reading with me. It's a tarot reading, and we will also look at your birth chart and some big transits that are happening this year for you within that live reading, and that's only $100. So jump on it. It only happens once a year for you guys. This will be available during your season. If you want to get your birthday reading done for your birthday, I highly suggest you get your reading at least 2 weeks before your birthday if you want it for your birthday. That's why I do it so early, so everybody gets the opportunity. I do my best. Jessalyn, my assistant, will contact you. She and I do our best to get the birthday readings as close to your birthday as possible. So there you go. I still have jewelry, guys. I still have jewelry available. We're going to get some lapis, blue lapis rings in as well, probably in the next couple of weeks, I would say. But I have some size 8s left and a couple of, I think like one size 6 and one size 7 and a couple of 8s left. So, and they're on sale. The necklace, the spiral necklace is on sale, and I want to get some new inventory up there, but I want to wipe all this stuff out first. So, and you get all the Reiki energy in with it. So guys, let's look at the remainder of January. This is going to be like, sit down, get relaxed, get comfortable. This is going to be one of those readings where we're going to look at the rest of January's energy, and then we're going to talk about February and do a whole new spread. Okay. I didn't want to completely shut out, January's energy. And wow, you guys are really talking today. Okay. And here's the thing is, I even want to say, what you might have to correct me. I feel like I want to say that even in your forecast reading, January was very turbulent for you, and I'm not surprised because we did have that Saturn and Pluto conjunction. Jupiter is also in your 12th house, and the year coming up for you guys in March, which we'll talk about it when we get closer to it. But in like Saturn moves into Aquarius in March, and I know that everybody talks about how Uranus rules Aquarius, but it's actually Saturn that rules Aquarius, where Saturn is the structure in Capricorn and doing things the right way and in the right time for the structure in Capricorn. Saturn in Aquarius is changing structures and shifting structures and for like a long-term benefit, right? This is like I mean, if you guys have been watching the news, all, you know, that Saturn and Pluto conjunction is a breakdown. It's a transformation of structures. It's a breakdown of structures. And just days, like 10 days before that conjunction happened, we had all of that stuff happening in Iran with the United States involved. And then just days before the conjunction happened, the monarchy, there was a really big announcement in the monarchy too, where Harry is stepping down. Harry and Meghan are stepping down from being royals. So there is this huge breakdown in structure that we've had for centuries. I mean, the monarchy has been around for a very long time. The woman that is still reigning, you know, the queen, she's been the queen of the monarchy for 7 decades, over 70 years, because she was in her early 20s when she took over. So you have to look at how all of these things that we've really based our life on, how it has to change. We have to evolve. If we continuously stayed the same over and over and over again, year after year after year, we would become so stagnant and so stuck in our ways, we become ignorant, right? When you stay in a mindset, you know how they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks? It's basically that kind of mentality where you stay in a particular mindset for long enough and you won't change your ways. You don't want to, you know, I mean, it's very hard to change the older generation's minds on some things. And so if you're seeing things in your world, and it doesn't even have to be like physically falling apart, like things don't have to actually be physically falling apart for you to have tower moments. And then we have the 2 of Wands and the 4 of Wands. But I do feel like for some of you, there is a physical, like for some of you, you're actually moving, or in January, you're recognizing you're actually having to physically move. With the 2 of Wands and the 4 of Wands, the 2 of Wands is making that decision, and the 4 of Wands is like, you know, where do I want my stability to be? I have these 2 roads I can take. And then we have the Ace of Swords and the Chariot down here. So I feel like something happened. I feel like something probably environmental in your environment it's either is happening or it will happen in January. Like right now we have 15 days, 16 days, January 31st. And we have this, you have this need and this feeling to change something. There has to be, you have to make a decision because there was like an aha moment, or, you know, I don't want you to look at this tower energy as something negative. I feel like this was almost the push that you needed. Yeah, this was actually something that you created and manifested within yourself. And I want you to recognize, it's so funny. I tell people all the time, like right now, it feels like time has sped up a little bit and things are manifesting much quicker than they normally would. So to really watch your thoughts, because you can manifest negative things happening to you, or you can, if you say, oh my God, if you look up at the sky and you're like, I just need my life to change. Something has got to change. I need it to change, bam. Because God's getting excited about it. Source, I don't, whoever you call God, right? Whoever she is to you. To me, it's an energy. It's an energy that I co-create with, right? But when you say that out when you put that out into the ether and you're like, I'm ready, let's do this, God will show up for you. Especially when you can easily manifest anyways, and when it's time, right? So that magician on the tower is saying, you created this. If it's uncomfortable for you, just know. And a lot of the best manifestations or best things in life come from the discomfort of a manifestation that we needed. I know I've had many times where I in the past, I was on the floor and I was just like, I need something, you know, like crying my eyes out and just like, please just change something in my life. And then everything shifted after that. It wasn't easy, but every single time, you know, and I always, you know, I don't want you to do it. I want you to pay attention to everything as it's happening in that moment. I don't want you to, you know, think into the future. Okay, I'll just wait until I'm at that moment before I'll ask for help. I want you to ask for help every single day before that moment gets to you. So you don't have to have a moment like that. You see? That's my goal. So we have the Queen of Swords with the Two of Wands. This decision that you're making is 100% up to you. Nobody else can make this decision for you. You're the only person that can do it, and that's why you're coming out on the Two of Wands. If you, and part of it is that you're realizing, wow, I really don't have many people I can count on when it comes to my stability or what it is that I feel like I need in my life. You know? So the Four of Wands on the Four of Cups is, it's so necessary sometimes. You feel like you're turning your back on a life, like the only life that you knew. But in reality, you're just being honest with yourself, and you're living your own truth. And you have to, it's very difficult when you're first starting to live your truth and speak your truth, because you can feel guilty. You can feel very, very guilty, and having to separate yourself from a life that you once knew really well. But here's the thing, you guys, is it's so needed for you to change things in your life. It's so needed. Yeah, and this is why. Okay. If you're trying to decide in January where you need to go, or what your journey is, or where you're going, you could also be dealing with a Virgo or Gemini energy that's not entirely stable right now, and you're having to make a decision about them. Part of this, you guys, might even be that you're realizing that if it is a Gemini that you're dealing with, they're very, very angry right now. That Knight of Swords on the Ace of Swords. It could even be a Cancer too, with this Chariot down here. I almost called it the Wheel of Fortune, but it's kind of the similar energy. But with the Chariot down here, there's definitely a decision on either what direction you need to go in. So you need to make a decision on what direction you need to go in, or you need to make a decision about a Cancer, or it's almost as if, like, who am I bringing? Who am I bringing into my new existence? And how am I going to accomplish all of this as I bring them into my new existence? You know, it's not even a question of if you're going to bring people, it's just who is it? Because I think that some things that you used to subscribe to, this Four of Cups on the Four of Wands is very telling, by the way. Some ideas in some situations that you used to subscribe to, you're just not interested anymore. It's almost like you can't be bothered by the things that you used to be subscribed to, but you also realize that because you can't be bothered by what you used to subscribe to, something has to change now. It's like your environment doesn't, that's what it is. That's the discomfort I'm feeling. Your environment isn't conducive to the energy that you're putting off anymore. You have to change the situation around you. That's why I feel so uncomfortable. Because, and here's the thing, you guys, is that's how it works, is we change the energy within us first, and we start to see things differently on the outside. And then after we've changed the energy, we match the energy, right? Whatever energy we have holding, if we love ourselves a lot, but we're still in like a domestic situation that is not loving or kind, but you have realized how much you love yourself, your higher self and source, you are manifesting that shit. You are pushing yourself out of the existence you once knew because it's no longer comfortable for your soul to be in it. That's how it works. Okay? So for those of you that are seeing your environment change because you have changed, you are on the right track. You're absolutely doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that includes relationships, you guys. I don't care how long you've been together. You could be together for 20, 30 years. And then you decide, oh man, I've been putting up with some stuff that I should not have been putting up with. And then you start to change. That's what happened in my second marriage. I started to change how I felt about myself. And it changed how I felt about the relationship with my husband. There's nothing wrong with that, though. You know how you say you outgrow people? Sometimes you outgrow people. And I am not a person that says, just get divorced. If it's over, it's over. Like, just do it, right? Like, I'm not going to say that. I will tell you to work on it first. I will tell you do absolutely everything you can. But when you get to a certain point in your life, you cannot do it anymore. And lying to yourself and saying that you can is only going to make it worse. Okay? So you're manifesting a really big change in your life. And I feel like a lot of that is creating a change in your environment as well. Applause, applause. And that's exactly what, you know, I mean, like this change that you have inside, that's what that Saturn and Pluto conjunction wanted for you, was for you to change it inside. I'm going to pause this really quick, timestamp it for 15:30, and we'll get started with February. Hi guys, it's so funny when I unpause it, I expect to have like that 3-second start before it actually starts, and I always forget that it's not there. Okay. So February, we have so Mercury's going to move into Pisces, and I believe it moves into Pisces on February 3rd. Hold on a second. Let me double check. So Mercury is actually moving into Aquarius tomorrow for you guys. So you will have Mercury in Aquarius for about, only like 2 weeks. Next sign change. Oh, until February 3rd. Okay. So you'll have Mercury in Aquarius in your sign until February 3rd. And then on the 16th, and then it goes into Pisces. On the 16th of February, Mercury goes retrograde, and it will come back into Aquarius where it goes direct again on March 9th. Remember, we have those 2-week shadow period. So like when it moves directly, when it goes into Pisces, that's when the shadow period of Mercury retrograde generally starts. I mean, like it's a little bit more specific than that, but for the sake of generalities, general statements, let's just say that way. So we'll start the shadow period then. What does this mean for you? I feel like this is a prep for you for Saturn coming into Aquarius in March. Saturn moves into Aquarius. I believe it's March 3rd. Let me double check. You guys are the first sign that I'm doing for all of this. So March 21st. So yeah, I've got everything written down somewhere. I just didn't put it up. Anyways. So Saturn comes into Aquarius on March 21st. Then it goes in retrograde in May. Saturn goes retrograde in May and goes back into Capricorn, finishes off its transit in Capricorn, and then comes back into Aquarius in December at the same time Jupiter comes into Aquarius. And they will actually conjunct the same day as they both move into Aquarius. And so here's the thing, you guys. This year is, yes, there's going to be a lot of changes for you this year. But it's all about structure. And then at the end of the year, you'll get to see how you are, like that little break of time when Saturn goes back into Capricorn and then comes back into Aquarius again. It's almost as if this is like your time to really assess what it is, the lessons that you need to be learning. And I'll do a whole video on what Saturn in Aquarius is going to mean for everybody. But for you guys in particular, I think your the idea of how you used to do everything is really, really coming. It's changing in a big way. Like this is not, I mean, especially with Jupiter at the end of, at the end of the year in December, when Jupiter and Saturn come into Aquarius, I think that you guys are, the energy is going to be very expansive. I don't want you to be afraid of it. I feel like this energy just popped out because it's like, all right, Betsy, now that you've scared the shit out of us, let's talk about February. No, it's not to be scared of. I know that you guys are a fixed sign, but you're also fixed air, right? But because you're a fixed sign, you still sort of have a tendency to be very set in your ways. I wouldn't say you're as set in your ways as, say, a Taurus is. But I think it's the fear of things changing too fast. And then you because 2019 was difficult enough as it was. It's like, wow, if I have to go through more of these changes, but you have to remember, Sagittarius went through it. Like, we've all been through it, right? I'm still having to talk Sagittarius down from their Saturn return and their, Jupiter going into all of this stuff, right? I'm still trying to talk to Sagittarius about all of that. And so we have to remember that the reason why we have these planetary transit and these aspects happening is to show us, it gives us the energy to improve and evolve our lives in better ways, not to be afraid of it. Now, some of the things that this energy is going to ask you to do is to get real and honest with yourself. And I think part of that is you realizing how you can create a lack mentality within yourself when nothing changes, when things are improving, but because you don't feel like they're improving fast enough, or you don't actually see the improvement or the effort of improvement, you don't realize what the lesson is there, to be, right? I hope I'm not barking at you this time. Somebody told me that I was barking in the Aquarius video. Last time I did an Aquarius video, I guess I was barking at you guys. I don't know. I'm sorry if I bark. It's because my Mercury and Jupiter is conjunct in my 11th house. Okay, it's your energy. Very excited about it. 5 of Pentacles. Okay. And you know what? The reason why it's so hard is because I don't want you guys to think that I'm picking, like, I'm not producing this energy that's coming out here on the table. So if anybody's going to at me with what I'm about to say, I'm going to shut the comments off if I have to. Seriously, because this kind of energy, I understand why. I understand why you guys feel like you're down and out. I understand why you feel like it's been this constant battle and fight and effort. You've had Saturn and Pluto in your 12th house for the last 2.5 years. You have had to literally find out the essence of who you are, probably in the worst possible ways that you could think of. You've had to lose loved ones. You've gained people in your life too. You've had to lose jobs, but you've gained employment too. Maybe it's not the best employment, but it's employment. If you're still in a place right now where you feel like you can't go on and things are really rough, it's normal, right? But as we go into February and we go through that Mercury retrograde, it's going to ask you where you need to change your life. It's going to ask, because as Saturn goes into Aquarius, things will change whether you like it or not. You can't ignore your own gut instincts. 4 of Cups and the High Priestess. The anxiety that I feel in this right now, you guys, is so real. And if this were a personal reading, I would probably tell the person to watch one of my workshops. And if you already watched one of my workshops or both of my workshops, I would tell that person to watch it again. Or I would tell that person to do some meditation. I would tell that person that they need to stop, they need to start changing their life and removing themselves from certain situations that they've been. It's like, you guys know. Stop ignoring your intuition. You know what you have to change in your life. It's not an outside thing. And if it is an outside thing, then that means that there are some things that need to be removed, because something is still making you, if you can't find the joy and happiness in the lessons that you're learning or the abundance that you're in right now, it's going to be very hard for you to change anything in your environment and still feel that happiness. Like, you can go to a new place to heal, but if you don't change your attitude or change how you feel inside, that new place is going to feel the same way as the old place did in like a month. There we go. Okay. So if you're worried about money right now, if there's a concern about money or where money is going to come from, Mercury, I feel like Mercury retrograde is going to give you an opportunity to start having more creative ideas, or like there's some new projects or some new endeavors that you're taking on. And I have with the Ace of Pentacles on the Nine of Swords, I feel like money might be a problem. If money is a problem for you right now, this Five of Pentacles makes a lot of sense. But I also feel like there are other ways for you to bring money in. You know what I mean? There are other ways for you to there's an opportunity for you to create. And I think you're kind of scared to rush into it. So I have the Ace of Swords. I don't know if I told you that. The Ace of Pentacles on the Nine of Swords. But I have the Ace of Swords and the Empress on the Knight of Swords. Some of you are having arguments with your mother too, and it could have to do with money or stability. If you're arguing with your mom right now, or you're having some issues with your mom right now, again, you have to remember that structures are breaking down, and older generations are going to have a really hard time with this breakdown of structures. So you may not be able to have a conversation with somebody without an argument ensuing right now. For a lot of you are worried about money, but there is this point where you're going to get some ideas to start something new or to create something new in February. So I really want you to pay attention to your intuition, because I don't think you are. I think, yeah, I feel like you, more than anything, you're fighting with a system that's not working anymore. You're fighting with the ego and the system that's not working anymore. The Five of Wands on the Five of Pentacles. You know, and I know the struggle, the monetary struggle. I probably know this better than anybody. I mean, I spent some time homeless in my 20s and I had 2 small children at the time. So I get it, but it's temporary. It's always temporary, you guys. And there's not a, sometimes you just, like in those moments, it's more of an energy that you have to wait. You have to like wait it out. You know, instead of trying to fight for it, that Five of Wands, I feel like the struggle with the finances and stuff, if that is what's bringing you your misery, the struggle with finances, you have to have a different relationship with finances. You have to have a different relationship with money. The monetary value of things has to change. I know that a lot of us don't want to hear this, but if you're struggling with money and you're living above your means, some stuff has to go. And if that means that you have to move, then you have to move. If that means that you have to sell some items, then you sell some items. When we get into situations where we hold on to the material assets and we give that value, and then we give our worth into that material asset's value, and then we lose that material asset, we also lose our self-worth, right? Because we've placed so much into that. For example, like your house floods and all of your family's antiques and stuff that are hundreds and hundreds of years old are ruined, and you throw yourself into a deep depression because all of this stuff is ruined. You literally put your self-worth into all of those artifacts. Sometimes the energy of objects that we've carried on through lifetime after lifetime have ancestral karma attached to them. Hear me. And so when we lose material items, when we lose our houses, because I've been through that too. I've lost absolutely everything before. And I had to rebuild from the ground up, right? Which is something that probably for a lot of you happened in January and may even be happening a little bit more or like the fear of it is still sort of lingering in February, because you go through PTSD when that stuff happens. It's a very traumatic time and you have to honor yourself a lot. But when we go through that and we fight the process and we've attached ourselves, you can easily manifest yourself staying in that. Remember when I said with the magician in January with the tower, you can easily manifest things right now like that. And that includes long-term self-lack mentality. If you want to continue ignoring what your gut is telling you to do, that you have to release certain things, you have to release certain ideas, and the structures are breaking down. And so, you know, like when you buy a piece of jewelry or you like there are some stones, like bracelets and stuff that you can buy with healing crystal stones on them, and then they break off of you when the energy is done and you don't need that anymore. You have to kind of have that sort of detachment or non-attachment mentality to everything. And the reason why is because everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. Even a relationship is temporary, because you both will pass on someday. Even if you're together for your entire lifetime, you both will pass on someday. It is temporary. The energy that we're holding in these human bodies today is temporary. Okay? And I know I had to say that 6 times, but if an idea gets up into an Aquarius's head, you guys will ruminate on that shit. Some of you are going to pull some things out of this reading and you're going to obsess about it and be like Betsy said, please don't do that to yourself. Please do not obsess about certain things, okay? You know, and some of you need to spend some time on your own. Some of you need to have that alone time, and I want you to honor it. I feel like allowing yourself this pause in February, and a lot of it is because you did have to do a grand move or a big move, or you had to shift your energy in some way at the end of January or going into February. You had to shift your energy in some way, and that created this pause, right? You could be dealing with a Leo energy that you're ignoring, or they're ignoring you. Either way, and then we have like double Pisces energy here too. But this is like that Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrograde that's in Pisces, it will go back. Mercury will go back into Aquarius, and then when it goes direct, it'll go back into Pisces again. But when we have this retrograde on February 16th, I want you to pause. I want you to take this opportunity to see things in a different way. The High Priestess sees things, she knows things, she feels things, everything, right? She just doesn't say a lot. And the Hanged Man is a very enlightened person because he's put himself there upside down on purpose to see things from a different perspective. He's keeping an open mind. And sometimes we're placed on pause because we have to realize that our security and our stability and our strength actually is within us. And I know that I preach that a lot, but if you're fighting with that material, if you're fighting with how you're losing everything right now, I mean, even if you are fighting your own body right now, if you're sick and you're fighting your own body right now, you can start to feel really worthless because you've tied your self-worth to your health. I can only be at my best if I'm 100% healthy. Or I can only be happy if I'm 100% healthy, or I feel good. You know? And it's relative, right? Feeling good is relative to who you act, because for one person, they could be in chronic pain every single day. And, you know, on a pain scale, feeling good to them is like, you know, a 5. They feel really good when they're at a 5, when their pain is at a 5, right? When it's not at a 10, but it's at a 5. But they have pain every single day, where there's the other person who doesn't ever feel any pain or isn't in any pain, doesn't have headaches, is very healthy, and they get hit with the flu. It's like their pain level's at a 10 automatically because they have the flu and they have the chills and the body aches and all of that, right? So it's all relative in how you feel. So you have to find what's right for you, and nobody else can tell you that. And that's where the boundaries are. You know, you have to be able to say, you know, I give my self-worth to me based on my scale of feeling good, not your scale of feeling good. And you don't get to tell me the difference in that. Those are boundaries. And it's self-care too. You know, it's like when somebody said, it's like, you know, that person, I love this person. The person that always has to one-up you on how bad their life is. Oh, no, I know that feeling. I did this, and this. Man, or if it makes you feel any better, I had this kind of sickness. And it's like, why would that make me feel better? Why are you trying to one-up me on how bad? You know, don't ask me how I'm feeling if you just want me to focus on your negative stuff. Seriously. And here's the thing. If you guys still don't know what feels safe to you right now, I feel like it's okay. I don't feel like you're gonna be 100% safe or feel 100% stable and safe in February. I think that those who can, with the Two of Swords and the Four of Wands, those who can really find that abundance within themselves and really find that joy and that presence that only they know, February is going to be a breeze. But one person says one thing and that'll get you like, then it's like with the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, I feel like, you know, one person can confuse you by saying something and like totally knock you off your whole routine that you had, right? And now you don't know what to do. You're like, I don't know. It's like one day, and see, that's the thing. It's like, so this is what I'm feeling, or this is what the kind of, I guess, movie you can say Spirit's giving me right now. It's not an actual movie, but they like play a clip in my mind, right? That's how my clairvoyance works. Like they play a clip of my life, like what I did in my past, in my mind. And what I'm sort of seeing here is like you have an argument, say you have an argument with your mother, or you have an argument with somebody or something like that, and everything blows up, everything explodes, you feel really, really bad about the situation, it sucks entirely, it's such a bummer, and you guys separate in ways for a little bit, but then they come back, and whether it's your mom or somebody else, it doesn't matter, but they come back to you and they apologize immensely for how they treated you and like all of the things, right? They say how sorry they are. They want things to go back to normal. And you had already made a plan that you were leaving and you weren't going to deal with this anymore. And you have to be strong enough and you have to, and now somebody comes back to you and they apologize and they say, please don't leave. Please stay here. We need you. I need you, blah, 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 blah. And they sort of manipulate the situation into you. That can easily create chaos in an Aquarian's mind, because then you guys get the feelings and you're like, oh man, am I going to be a horrible person if I don't do this, blah, blah, blah. If I leave, then I'm going to feel really guilty. And you start playing the game. We'll call it the game with yourself, right? And that's sort of what this is. And now you don't know what to do. And that's what Mercury retrograde is going to do to you guys. So you have to be, and that's why I was saying boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. You have to be very firm in what it is that you want to do. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to get through this energy, is if you are firm in what it is that you want in life. And you set your boundaries and you say, this is it, right? All right. I wish you guys the best. If you want to get a birthday reading with me, make sure you get it about 2 weeks before your birthday, so we can, if you want to get it around your birthday, make sure you're getting it about 2 weeks before your birthday. You have two options. You have the 1 hour live, where we'll also look at your chart a little bit and see some transits for the year. And then, or you can get a 30-minute recorded or live. In the 30-minute, we don't have time to look at your chart, but we will talk about a few things when it comes to astrology stuff. So, but that is only $50 for the 30-minute live one. I love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your January and February. Take good care of yourselves. Mwah. Bye.